Everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Daniel Barrett, and I'm here along with Denise West, who's a member of my team, as well as Sean Reardon, who is a member of the Symantec Technical Support team. We're going to talk to you today about both PGP and vRay. We're going to do an overview of both of those things. PGP, we're going to do Sean. And then Denise West will actually do the vRay overview for you. So thanks for joining us today. This is what our agenda looks like. As I mentioned, the PGP technical overview. Sean, because he's a technical guy, we're going to be a little bit more in-depth than maybe Denise will be. We don't have questions because we're actually recording this session, so there won't be questions. We're also going to talk about enablement, promos, and contact information, both here from a Symantec perspective and an Ingram Micro perspective. And then we'll skip announcing the winner as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Sean, and he's going to talk to you about PGP.
Thanks, Dan. So the first thing to note with PGP, PGP stands for Pretty Good Privacy. Now, as most of you are probably already familiar, this is an encryption software. Encryption for such things as emails, files, folders, and of course hard drives. Now, to give you a little bit of the scope of the history of PGP, it was actually created in 1991. And back in April 29th of 2010, that's when Symantec had actually announced that it was going to acquire the PGP product line for about $300 million. Now, of course, a pretty nice sum, but it is an excellent product and well worth it. Now, early this year, in January, Symantec has rebranded the PGP line to Symantec Encryption, powered by PGP technology. As you can see from the bullet points here, we have multiple products within the PGP or Symantec Encryption family, such as drive encryption, DOP email, gateway email, and of course the main management console, Symantec Encryption Management Server. First, we're going to go over the Symantec Drive encryption piece. Now, this is formally referred to as PGP whole disk encryption. Now, with whole disk encryption, or Symantec Drive encryption, it's really going to be primarily for desktops, laptops, even some servers. It will run primarily on Windows operating systems, but it'll support Mac OS X and select Linux platforms as well. Now, this is something that's certainly going to assist with encryption software. Anytime you have a customer calling for encryption where they need to satisfy compliance, such as PCI or HIPAA compliance, that's certainly a red flag to let you know that encryption is going to be a big piece here. Now, as stated, it will encrypt desktops, laptops, as well as USB drives. Now, it's also going to help you with those compliance strategies, again, for PCI or HIPAA. A brief overview on how it actually works. Step one is you're going to set up your policies and provisions with this. It's done by the administrator. We'll go ahead and deploy the MSI package in order to install. Once it's installed, it's going to go ahead and start encrypting the hard drive immediately. Now, as that hard drive is encrypted, it's going to allow you to log on from now on anytime you boot up your desktop. Now, as you boot up, before it actually loads the operating system, it will ask you to authenticate either through a single password, or if you'd like multi-factor authentication, you can do that single passphrase with a smart card. Now, again, this is definitely a big piece in compliance with most of those options out there. Again, PCI, HIPAA. But if for any reason you have any issues, there is also a help desk associated with it. So if you forget password, you only have a resource to be able to get in. You're not going to be completely caught in the dark with no way to recover. With drive encryption, this is a product where it can act as a standalone product, or we can use the Symantec Encryption Management Server to centrally manage the deployment, as well as just maintaining reporting of this as we go through. Now, the encryption management server, as you can see from the slide here, is going to make it a lot easier to not only manage and enforce, but also report on those protected systems. Moving forward past the encryption management piece, with the Symantec encryption, we can actually offer support for multi-user on a single system. Now, of course, we're never going to need to have 120 users per system. Very rarely will that be the case, but just know that that option is out there. And again, as we've already mentioned, this is really something where we can use either a single password or use it in conjunction with any kind of token, such as RSA. Now, moving forward, we're going to go ahead and focus on the Symantec email encryption piece. Now, with email encryption, we actually have two different offerings. We have desktop email, or we have gateway email. I'll outline the differences between them, but basically, with desktop email, this is a client-based email encryption offering. Now, this requires that both the recipient and the sender have that client installed on their local machine in order to both encrypt or decrypt the message. Now, this is typically used more for internal email communications, but it can be used when we have, say, clients that are not within the organization, but we can actually get an accurate count on them and ensure that this encryption client piece is installed on their systems. So, real quick, the way it would work, if you take a look at the screen here, on the left side of the slide, you're going to see, say that's our home office, and that is the corporate headquarters. We want to go ahead and actually encrypt an email and send it over to somebody who's remotely in our working remotely from our sales department. So we just click the encryption, or click the encrypt option, send the mail over, and the recipient, that member from our sales department, who may be working remotely, can go ahead and access that through their computer device, decrypt that message locally. It requires the client at both ends in order for this to work, but that is certainly an option for you. Now, gateway email encryption, this is a little bit different. This is more like what you would see when you have a communication from your bank. We've all gotten those emails where our bank is letting us know that there's a new statement available to view. It's pretty much the same concept here. This is them sending you an encrypted message that only you can view. They don't actually send it to your inbox. What's happened with this, and we'll go over in the following slides, is we're using a client-less email encryption system. A client-less system is basically going to host the email on their own servers and send you notification of that email. Take a look at this slide here. This is going to be kind of how it works. Now, on the left side, again, if you're considering this your corporate headquarters, let's say a doctor's office. Now, the doctor's office, they want to send their patients an email. They're going to go ahead and send that encrypted email where it's be stored locally on one of their servers here. The PGP Universal server, or as it's now called, the Symantec Encryption Management server, will host that email and then send out a notification email to the recipient. Now, that notification email will go over the cloud to the recipient's email, let them know that they have an email, encrypted email that they can view, but that they will have to log into the system first. Now, once they do this, once they log in, and if they haven't logged in before, they can certainly register. They will be able to view that email. Now, the Symantec Encryption Management server, again, is the main management console. Now, this is formerly PGP Universal server. It really has a number of key features and advantages to using the encryption management server. As you can see from the slide here, some of these advantages are, of course, policy enforcement. Able to enforce those policies that you set in place without having to worry so much about manually enforcing those or double-checking on those on a daily basis. Now, of course, just to ensure that everything has been implemented correctly, you do do have your reporting and logging capabilities. And again, we can use key management here in order to create, distribute, or store the encryption keys. Now again, as we've already discussed, the encryption management server will be able to enforce these security policies for you automatically and really be able to help you with your costs and accelerate the deployment. When you actually deploy an encryption policy, it's going to go ahead and send that out to everybody, every machine that you're managing, making it far more easy for any of your administrators to implement and manage this solution. And here you can see just a listing of some of the bundled options available. As you can see here, we have encryption desktop corporate, professional, and storage. Each one coming with a different set of features, whether it's drive encryption, whether it's email encryption, or file share encryption, or all of the above, as you'll find with corporate. Now, this is a bundled offering, but note that it does not actually include the encryption management server, which is a big piece and will actually be required for everything, with exception to drive encryption. Drive encryption, as we previously stated, is still alone, but it can also be managed by that encryption server.
So at this point, we would have had questions, but we don't because we're recording this after the actual WebEx took place. Thank John very much. Hopefully you guys found that very informative. And now we're going to move on to Denise West. Denise West is actually going to talk about the Backup Exec V-Ray edition, and she'll give you an overview of that. So I'm going to turn it over to Denise.
Hey, Annie. Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to talk a little bit today about virtualization and the V-Ray product. The first slide that I want to talk about here gives 3 statistics that I thought was really important and very interesting about our technology market today. 2 of the largest areas of opportunity in our market today are cloud solutions and virtualization. We all know that. The first statistic is the most important IT priority for 2013, increased use of server virtualization. Number 2 is 64% of IT departments will increase in 2013 spending on virtualization software. And more than 1/3 of organizations identified improving backup and recovery of virtual machines as a top initiative. My sources came from ESG 2013 IT Spending Intention Survey. So Symantec's primary goal in delivering the V-Ray edition was to minimize the price gap between Backup Exec and virtual-only competitors in protecting virtual environments. And the secondary goal was to leverage the ability of Backup Exec to protect physical systems so that we not only match the value of virtual-only competitors for a virtual-only solution, but to exceed it. This is one of my favorite slides. Bad things happen in the dark. You can't protect, dedupe, manage, or recover what you can't see. That being said, leads us into Symantec's V-Ray technology. V-Ray is the name for a group of Symantec technologies that give customers additional visibility into virtual machines and applications. Additional insight helps to break down physical and virtual silos and enables transparent backup and recovery across both. Unified protection allows you to more confidently secure, protect, run, and recover business-critical systems, as well as reduce complexity and costs that can result by having multiple point solutions. And I'm going to ask you if you could maybe explain the steps in the V-Ray technology.
Sure, absolutely. So with the V-Ray technology, one of its main advantages here is that we can actually see inside the image without actually having to spin up that virtual machine. If you have the backed up virtual machine, first thing it's going to do, it's going to look inside of that. It's going to mount that backed up image and be able to reach directly into that image. It searches for the file or the data that we're actually trying to recover. Now, once it recognizes that information, and go ahead and be able to natively restore that data directly back into the application itself. Again, there's no need here to power up the virtual machine, so this is definitely going to save a lot of time, a lot of challenges as compared to most of the competitor products, which do require that you spin up that entire virtual machine just to be able to recover a single file. With V-Ray technology, and it's a great technology, and this is just one of the better advantages to having it.
Yeah. So let's just take an overview of the Backup Exact 2012 V-Ray edition and what customers are really targeted. It's primarily virtualized, but also too, physical servers as well. With support for Windows and Linux, virtual machines include advanced duplication and virtualized application protection. Reduces business downtime and reduces storage costs, increased backup speed with environment-wide deduplication. This is kind of interesting. I mean, on the left, you can see what people see with the V-Ray product, and on the right, what do you see there, right, Sean? What do we think all those colors mean on the left-hand side?
Right. I mean, on the left side, really, that's just representing the different files, different applications, different data that's inside of that virtual machine. Now, we can actually see that again with the V-Ray technology. You can see on the right side here, it's completely dark. There's no way to see that while that virtual machine is down. And we would have to spin that up with a competitor product in order to be able to actually recover any file or data that we want to get at the granular level.
That is competitive advantage to V-Ray.
Absolutely.
So here's an example. This slide is a great example of how we license the V-Ray edition. There's two tier levels. The first bullet point you'll see is tier A, and that's according to the core count, so it would be 2 to 6 cores. The second bullet point is 8 cores and above, which is tier B. And as you can see, the MSRP pricing on there is right now currently on a promo called V1 with Symantec, and you can get a discount up to 65% of those prices. So with the CPU socket or core, Sean, can you maybe speak a little to this slide?
Sure. So most of us nowadays are familiar with the CPU, exactly what it is. It's a central processing unit, essentially the brain of your desktop or server. When we talk about the socket, that's actually the place that the CPU connects to on the motherboard. Now, most motherboards nowadays can support numerous CPUs on the board, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to populate each of those sockets with the CPU. So it's important to note that with V-Ray, we're only licensing for the CPUs that we have in place. So we have a motherboard with 4 sockets, but only 2 CPUs on there. We're only get a license for those 2 CPUs. We do not have to license for any unpopulated sockets. And as far as the core, you can think of the core as essentially mini CPUs, mini parts of the brain that they're going to make up the entire CPU itself. Now you can see from the photo here, this is actually an example of 2 6-core Xeon 5600 processors. Now you're not actually able to tell the number of cores other than the fact that it's a Xeon 5600. If you don't have that information, this is certainly something where we would want to take a look at the desktop or the laptop and find out how many cores are there, because we're not going to be able to gauge it just by looking at the CPU itself.
In this case, from a licensing perspective, we would license 2 CPUs at 2 to 6 core level of the V-Ray SKU. Here's another slide basically basically with just showing two 8-core Xeon 7500 series CPUs. In this case, we would license it 2 times of the 8+ core V-Ray SKUs. Not that difficult. So what features are included in Backup Exec V-Ray 2012? You get Backup Exec Media Server, Agent for VMware and Hyper-V, all of the application and database agents, dedupe options, and other options can be licensed at the regular price. Why Backup Exec for virtual machine protection and deduplication? These are all great reasons here, but also too, I just wanted to speak to the agent versus agentless conversation. Backup Exec V-Ray gives you the flexibility to choose the level of recoverability you need in your VMware or Hyper-V environment. So now we can look at both a virtual and physical environment and speak to these points. The Backup Exec Media Server and deduplication option included in the V-Ray edition can be used to protect a customer's physical systems, but will be required to purchase agents to protect any physical systems. For example, the customer has a physical system running Oracle, then the customer will need to purchase an agent for applications and databases to cover the protection of that physical Oracle system. If the Backup Exec Media Server that's included in the V-Ray edition license is installed on a physical server that is running an application supported by Backup Exec, there is still a requirement to purchase an agent for applications and database. For example, when Backup Exec V-Ray edition is installed on a physical server running Microsoft Exchange, this customer must still purchase an agent for application and databases to be properly licensed to protect the Exchange resources on the physical system. So licensing scenario. On left you can see all the environment components. And on right is how we would license it. We would just need 2 of the Tier A V-Ray licenses and 1 of the application databases to protect the domain controller. And also the promo would discount this as well. That's V1 promo. So in summary, we've got unmatched virtual backup and recovery with 1 product and a recovery, deduplication everywhere, and victory over complexity.
Thanks, Denise. Again, typically during our regular presentation of this WebEx, we would actually take questions at this time, but before recording it after. For those of you that have actually viewed the presentation but have questions, feel free to reach out to the licensing desk, and we can answer those for you. Or we can get you down to technical support and they can assist as well.
Dan, if I could actually, before we wrap up, there was one question asked when we did this live that I did want to address. That's not in the slides here.
Sure.
With regard to hypervisor support for Backup Exec, it was asked whether or not there would actually be support for the Citrix server hypervisor. Now, this is a pretty good question. With that, it's unfortunately something that's not currently supported, and to our knowledge, it's not actually on the roadmap, but that doesn't mean that we can't protect any of the server deployments. We just have to treat them more as a traditional client-based backup rather than at the hypervisor level.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, John. So what I'd like to talk about is some enablement, some promos, and contact information, both here at Ingram Micro and at Symantec. So Internet. I'll tell you that if you are not a PartnerNet member today, to please become one. It costs you nothing to sign up for PartnerNet. It is an incredible resource. We use it internally here at Ingram Micro to do various things that our reseller partners would ask us to do. So we utilize that a lot. I would also tell you that this tool along with products, also has great training. So you can be SSE or SSE Plus certified by taking the trainings available on PartnerNet. It also allows you to find out what specializations or what you would have to have from a specialization perspective to get yourself authorized. An example would be something like Enterprise Vault, Net Backup, Storage Foundation, some of the enterprise level products that Symantec offers. Again, so if you're not a PartnerNet member today, please jump on partnernet.symantec.com and sign up. So the license is our internal reseller and end user facing portal here at Ingram Micro. It allows you to do a lot of things related to the software vendors that we support here. And just to give you a sense of that, we support probably between 60 and 80 different vendors here in the licensing department, do something like $3.5 billion in business. So although this is a Symantec WebEx, I would tell you that there's lots of other software vendors we support. You can actually view all of those on the Click to License site. I would tell you that if you're not using this Click to License site today, that you should. It's a pretty savvy tool. We've made a large investment in the last year or two in the tool itself. It is much better than it was ever before. You can see the things that you can do on here. You can do your order status and tracking. We also offer a monthly educational webinar that's done by the folks that support Click to License site. So if you're not familiar with it, I would tell you to jump on that site and sign up for that webinar. They go into a lot of things, a lot of different ways you can utilize the tool. Renewals, of course, is after the initial sale, a software vendor in many cases struggles to get any sales beyond that initial sale. Renewals is a good way to do that. We have a renewal services team here at Ingram Micro, and renewals is also a part of Click to License. One thing I would tell you is if you placed a licensing order here at Ingram Micro, that we will automatically send you a renewal notification based on the date that you process the order. So Click to License, if you're not utilizing it today, take a look at it and see if it could help your business. Margin Builder. So many vendors have different forms of promotions. Margin Builder, I would tell you, is probably one of Symantec's best promos they've ever run. You can actually take advantage of a 15% MSRP margin reduction if you look at the qualifying products. I'd also like to mention today that the products we did discuss are part of Margin Builder. So you can go to marginbuilder.com. You can actually register the opportunity. Registering the opportunity almost guarantees that you will win that opportunity because of the discount that you'll receive as a result of it. If you have any questions about Margin Builder, you can go to the Margin Builder website, and you can also dial that phone number on the bottom of the slide. 3-year SKUs. So 3-year SKUs is something that Symantec came up with a few years ago as a result of the 3-for-2 promotion. So if some of you are selling Symantec already, you would be familiar with 3-for-2, where you got 3 years of support for the price of 2. Symantec said that, wow, that was an incredibly successful promotion, so let's make it a constant. So 3 SKUs are in fact available for both antivirus products, and now probably within the last 6 to 8 months they've added Backup Exec as well. So those 3 SKUs are available. And if you have any questions related to that, you can contact the desk. Contacts. So contacts here at Ingram Micro, as I said, I am actually one of 30 folks that support the Symantec licensing line here at Ingram Micro. So if you have any questions related to Symantec products, you can give us a call. As well, we have an enterprise licensing desk. That is for the very high-end enterprise level products that Symantec would sell, and I think I mentioned it previously. Those are for products such as Enterprise Vault, Foundation, or Net Backup. We have a market development team here at Ingram Micro. 2 marketing development or market development managers, Jackie Campbell and Mike Fataruso. And then we also have 2 inside specialists, Kaylee Champlin and Stacy George. If you haven't had the opportunity to use these guys or to contact them, please do. One of the things we do is we utilize these folks. They're really a lot about enablement. So if you have market development managers, they will essentially travel with an AE here at Ingram Micro to do account visits. They're also about enabling you to get authorized for a product that you might not be able to sell today. They can help in that respect as well. The market development specialists, those actually sort of break down the walls, if you will, between the vendor and sales here internally, but they can certainly assist with any needs that you would have. So if you don't want to get the licensing desk, but want to contact somebody for an immediate need, you can certainly call the market development team here at Ingram Micro. They're great. So at the end of our presentation, we hope that you enjoy it. Again, if you're watching this, this is something that's going to be unique to us here at Ingram Micro. We hope to do more of these recordings and postings so that they're available for anybody to view at any time. And if you have any questions related to this presentation, you can give us a call here at the licensing desk, or you can call our technical support department. We appreciate your time. Thank you, and have a good day.